Do you ever feel like your emotions are running the show? Maybe you feel like you're constantly running from emotions, or you feel like you're stuffing them until they explode. And then it doesn't normally go so great, right? When we're exploding on other people. So I find a lot of clients have issues with one or the other. All of us have done both, right? But we often tend toward one side or another. Or maybe you're a combo planner, and that is cool too. Hey there, my name is Kate Wood. I am a Christian life coach. I am an emotional intelligence coach, and I am a mom of 5, and I love helping women overcome overwhelm, reduce stress, experience their emotions so that they can live a more joyful and authentic life. So let's dive in. I know some people are like, woo, let's go. And other people are like, oh my gosh, why am I watching this video? I don't like emotions. And I was you. A few years ago, I was you. I was like, I love mindset work because I can skip emotions. I can just change my emotions. Yay. And then after a while, I was like, wow, I'm working with amazing expert mindset coaches and there's still something missing. I am still not getting that complete package. It's like, maybe there's something to this emotion stuff, and there absolutely is. And that's when I started getting trained in different modalities so that I can help clients and just so I can experience it myself, that greater freedom, that feeling of greater command over your life, because your emotions aren't jerking you around anymore, right? We can spend so much time and energy and money avoiding our feelings. And that's what I want to talk to you about. I'm going to give you 2 tips today and then 2 tips in the next video on how to experience your emotions. And I promise it's not scary and icky and horrible. That's what I thought, and that's why I ran for so many years. And I'm encouraging you to stop running and give this a try. It can radically change your life. Before we get going, if this type of stuff is your jam, if you're into personal development, emotions, mindset work, all these types of things, go ahead into the show description and grab my newsletter. It goes out once a week. It's amazing encouragement and tips and techniques just to kind of keep you going, give you a boost partway through your week. Are you ready to go? Let's do it. The first thing I'm going to ask you to do is to skip your buffers. You're like, Kate, what's a buffer? If you've been in the personal development space, you may have heard it before, but if you haven't, that is a coachy word for anything that you use to avoid facing a situation, facing an emotion, these types of things. So in and of itself, a buffer isn't bad. Like, obviously eating is not bad, but if you're eating to avoid feeling sad, that's problematic, right? If you're scrolling instead of going to confront a child about a school assignment that they didn't complete because you know or you assume it's going to be very frustrating or it could get heated, that is buffering. I'm a homeschool mom, so we have a lot of assignments around here, and I understand the temptation. Sometimes I'm like, why am I scrolling again? Oh, because I got to go talk to that kid, right? And so that's one of your first steps, is to realize that you're doing it and to ask yourself, what's going on here? Am I avoiding something? And even if in your first week of trying this, all you do is notice yourself buffering, that's great. That's an amazing first step. Often clients, when I ask them to start looking into this area of their life, they get discouraged because they're like, I grabbed my phone like 1,000 times. And I'm like, yes, but now you know what you're doing. Isn't that great? They're like, I guess. Once you're aware, you can do something about it. And so maybe you choose 1 or 2 times to say, hey, what's going on here? Am I avoiding something? The next step after that is to be like, you know what? I'm not going to buffer. I'm not going to run away and numb out here. Do you guys know how much of the world is numbed out and how unique you are for just being here? Considering not numbing out. That's really big. And I just want to take a second to honor your interest in this. So we're going to choose some buffers to skip, or a few occasions where we're like, nope, I'm not going to go there because I want a greater range of emotion, right? What happens when we dampen emotions is that when we don't want to feel the negative emotions, and I don't love to call it negative emotions, but they're the emotions that we don't love feeling. Anger, resentment, vulnerability, grief. We kind of mute our ability to feel the joy and the peace and the quote unquote positive emotions, the other side of the coin, right? And so we want to feel the full thing. Because emotions, they're just part of life. They're part of who God created us to be. I don't think in and of themselves they're sinful. They can lead to sin, right? Which is why we want to get it under our command, get it under our control. When you're running, it's not under your control. It's controlling you. When you're stuffing and exploding, It's controlling you. And I don't believe that we're meant to be controlled by our emotions. Your second step is to allow. And I know that sounds simple and then not simple, right? If I told you, as soon as you feel an emotion that you want to run away from, I want you to do 50 jumping jacks. You'd be like, okay, I can do that, right? That's not what I'm asking you to do. I know some people would say, go exercise. And that can be a great way to release emotions, but it can also be a buffer. If you're using it to avoid something, it's a buffer, right? And so allowing it often for me means to get off in a quiet place. I know that's hard if you have a lot of kids. I have 5, right? So I get it. I go to my room. I tell my kids I'm getting my brain straight. They know that's like code for leave mom alone for 5 minutes or so, and she'll come out happier and more relaxed. So you may want to come up with your own code word to use with your family or your kids so that they'll leave you in quiet, right? So sit and allow it. And if you're terrified, I would pray on it. Lord, I know I have grief. I can feel it in my body. It feels like a rock in my stomach, or it feels like tightness in my jaw. That's another thing you can do. Notice where you're feeling it in your body. Just ask God to help you. Like, you're never alone, right? Sometimes, like, man, if I experience my emotions, I'm in this whole other world, isolated, alone. No, you're not. The Holy Spirit is always with you when you're a believer. So welcome God into this process. And it gives you courage, right? It gives you strength. Like, God, just be with me because I am feeling so sad right now. And we're not asking him to remove it. We're just asking him to be there with us, right? And to remind ourselves that he's there with us. So often it's just me kind of sitting there in a mental posture of like, I am allowing myself to feel this. Hey there, grief. Sometimes I'll like have funny conversations in my head. So this helps some people to like imagine it as a separate part of you. It's not, right? It's within you, but you can talk to it like it's a separate thing if that helps you. If it doesn't, no, don't don't do it. Hey there, grief. Okay, bring it on. I'm willing. It's a posture of willingness and a little bit of bravery. Okay, I'm willing to experience this. If you're a person, if you're like, I'm letting myself feel just a little bit of it, maybe a little bit is a great start. But if you're like, I'm shrinking back, I can tell, just envision opening the doors to it. Bring on the full extent. I'm strong. This isn't going to kill me, right? And let me put this in your ear too. If you've avoided emotions for a long time and you start to allow emotions, they may feel strong at the very beginning, and that's normal. Okay, here's another side note. I have not found that allowing myself to feel sad or down or anxious has caused any problem whatsoever. But if you are in a prolonged state of this, it's a great time to maybe talk to a trusted doctor, your naturopath, a psychologist, a licensed counselor. Have a whole team of people. Everybody should have a whole team of people that are supporting them in their health, both mental health and physical health, spiritual health. Grab your pastor so that you have a team, okay? If you're thinking about self-harm, that's when it's time to call the suicide hotline, and I will drop that into the show notes as well. We don't mess around with that, okay? We're talking about kind of normal emotions that come and go, right? Most of them come and then they do go, especially if we can allow them, right? And again, we're not wallowing, we're not magnifying, we're just like, what's there, I allow. I hope this makes sense. If you have questions, put it in the comments and I can do another video. So it's just dialing up our willingness to experience the emotion. So if you notice, back to my original thought, I'm only letting myself feel a tiny bit. Just imagine opening the door a little bit more. What happens is, even if you throw the doors wide open, you're probably going to realize once you allow that willingness, the emotion flow through and out faster. It's the resistance that kind of keeps it stuck in our bodies, in our spirits, in our minds. That's what I feel like really kind of entrenches it. The allowing lets it flow through. We don't want to dam it up. If I'm angry, I am going to feel it and allow it until it starts to release. And we'll talk about the releasing part in video 2, but that is a in-depth intro to allowing yourself to finally feel emotions again. We don't want to live a numbed out life. I don't want to. And if you don't want to either, this is an amazing first step. If you're like, Kate, this seems intimidating, I dare you to give it a try. But if you're like, still no, I want the results, but I'm I want more guidance, you want to hire a coach who is well versed not only in mindset, but also in emotional intelligence, somatic work, which I am also. So you want a holistic coach, one who really is truly holistic. A lot tend very strongly toward mindset, and mindset is powerful, but again, it's not the whole picture. And so I just wanted to kind of let you know about that. So thank you so much for joining me. You are a brave soul. I know that you can do this. I believe this could open up a world of opportunity and freedom for you. As you learn these skills, you can teach them to your children so that they have emotional intelligence, that they have bandwidth for experiencing emotions and not running from them their whole lives. What a tremendous gift. If you like this type of content, subscribe to the newsletter, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and watch out for video number 2. Take care.